obviously it's a different situation than training. Like getting into games, it's a different intensity. But it was good. I think it went well. I think I needed 5 or 10 minutes to kind of settle in the game. But after all, I'm pretty happy with my performance.
What does it mean to you that you guys, you knew you were going to come into the schedule having to play these Group A teams with you guys 4 times? Would you recommend playing a team 4 times throughout the course of regular season? What was it like going to that 4th game?
Well, there's positive and negatives to it. Like in the positive side, you play a team 4 times, so you kind of know how they play and what system they have and what tendencies they use during the game. So it's easier to figure out how they play. But on the other side, they can do the same thing with our team. So it's kind of harder to break them down. It's never easy to beat any team 4 times. So I think props to the team to do it in good fashion. A lot of goals, a lot of offensive play. So yeah, I think it's good to beat a team 4 times. It's never easy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the last 2 times that your coach was saying you guys didn't play as well as he thought you could, as opposed to maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago or something, yet you come out with a pair of wins in the last 2 times. Now, what does that say that you're still able to come out with wins even though you might not play your best soccer all around?
Great team. I think if you don't play your best soccer, but you can still come out with 3 points, I think that shows that that you're ready for playoffs, because those are games that are going to be scrappy. It's not always going to be the best soccer, but if you come out with a win in those games, I think it's a good sign going forward.
And after that win against Tacoma,
it's awesome. It kind of takes the pressure off to get into playoffs, but on the other hand, we're still fighting for a first spot in the group, which is very important for home field advantage. And I think it's a very hard place to come play here in Reno. I don't think any team wants to come play here. I think that would be good, especially with 2 games remaining. It's a lot of games in a short period of time, so it's a hard load for a lot of guys that played a lot of minutes. So I feel like the earlier we can clinch that top spot in the group, the better.
Also, the 4th time playing against Sacramento. You talked to your teammates and coaches about what makes them so tough. From your perspective, what makes them difficult to play against?
They're very physical, very talented up top. In the back too, they play very good soccer. They kind of figured out a way to play against our hard system. Obviously, we haven't won against them, so everyone is fired up to get that win now before we head into players. I think that would give a big confidence boost to the whole team. If you know that we can also beat Sac, and I think we should and we can.
Those first 2 matches, no goals, get Sac down, and then 3 in this last time out. What do you think was the biggest difference between those first 2 and the last time out against Sacramento?
We played them early in the year. I think we still had to figure out some tendencies offensively. So yeah, you can tell in the last 4 or 5 games the amount of goals that we scored. So I think we really figured out our running lines, our passing lines. Everyone plays with each other a lot more games, so it's easier to figure out how everyone plays with each other. I think that's kind of the biggest difference. Now I think we just have to put some focus on keeping clean sheets. I think that's something that we haven't done a lot this year. I think only 1 time. It's a big point going into the playoffs because you play good teams, you might not score 4 or 5.
Okie dokie. So, Coach, when the schedule came out, you knew obviously you'd be playing some teams 4 times. When you played Portland that 4th time, did you find it at all, or did you see guys having a tough time just even getting up for that game?
It's difficult. When the schedule did come out, we saw that on the schedule, and I did think that by the time the 3rd or 4th game came around, its motivation may be a little bit tough. But I think with this group, it hasn't been a problem. We still have Sac 1 more time. That'll be the 4th, and then Tacoma. And I don't think there's going to be any motivation problems because we're still trying to fight for first place and actually fight for the best overall record in the whole league out of 34 teams. So I think that's all the motivation we'll need.
With that being said, it's tough to beat a team once, but you did it 4 times. How pleased are you that you mentioned before you're a better team than Portland, but you still are able to pull that off? Yeah,
that's hard. It's hard for any team to do that. I thought the way we came out in the game, the first half was excellent. We're up 3-0 at halftime. The way we started the second half was poor. We let them back in the game, and it's a team that we shouldn't do that to. We should actually go for 4 and 5. They made it interesting at 3-2, but again, the guys came and scored 2 more goals, ended up winning 5-2. So good response.
When you look at these last 2 games against Tacoma and Portland, both wins, but there were moments in both where they could have tied you guys, if not won that game. What were your overall analysis of the last 2 games, and that even though maybe you didn't play your best or your potential, you still come out with wins?
Yeah, I think both those games, you can put them away by going up 4 and 5 goals, and don't let them make it 3-1. gives them a little bit of life, and then they get the second goal. And Tacoma kind of did the same thing. So it's a matter of, like I said, putting teams away, and then just don't give them a chance.
Every year is different. You have different guys cycling in, et cetera, and yet you still find a way, to make the postseason year in and year out with this club. What do you feel is the one common denominator that even though you cycle in all these guys, you still get the same type of result near the end of the season?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of getting the right players in here to Reno. Players that want to work. We don't get players that are just going to come and take it lightly. I want to find players that can potentially make it to Major League Soccer, San Jose Earthquakes. And I think, for me, it's just building that culture of work rate, respect for each other, all that stuff.
This might seem like an obvious answer to a dumb question, but I'll just ask it anyway. How has, with the circumstances, this run to the postseason been different than the 3 years prior? How has this one been special or unique?
Yeah, well, we did a ton of work actually off season during quarantine. We had 4 months off where we were able to go through a lot of our defensive principles, how we're pressing teams. And I think that really paid a lot of dividends as we got into the season, because the preseason, the second preseason was really short. We didn't have a lot of time to prepare. And all of a sudden you're playing Sacramento Republic, who's a good team. And I thought we played okay that first game, but the principles that we defended with were proper. So I think as the games went on, we got better and better, and we're finding pretty good form right now.
Now, Sacramento, you win that game, you clinch Group A. Obviously, you don't have to, but how much would it mean to you to beat Sacramento A and then B, clinch the entire group against them, a quality opponent? Yeah,
good team for sure. The last time we played them, I thought they did a very good job. They created chances, gave us some problems. We have to look at some things tactically to help us fix that. But we want to try to win the game. I don't think we've ever gone into a game trying to just get a point or tie. Even on the road, we try to win. So that's what we're going to try to do against Sac.
What did you like in that last matchup against Sacramento that you want to translate and bring over to this final regular season?
Well, I love the intensity of that game. I thought both teams played well. Both teams had good chances. What I do want to bring over is, we can't concede 3 goals. Against a team like that, it's hard to score against them. They're one of the best in the league at, I won't say clean sheets, but they just don't get a lot of goals conceded on them. So we need to make sure we're defensively sound and then finish our chances.
Sam Gleadle switched positions from midfielder to defenseman. What was that conversation like? Did you come to him, or how did that process go down?
Well, I was just kind of looking at our roster going into the season and figured that could be an option for him. I think his best position is outside back, left or right back, for the next level. What I mean by that is I think if he gets a chance at MLS, it's going to be as an outside back. So I told him that early on, and I think he understood that. I think most players would rather play higher up the pitch, but in our system, you find yourselves higher up the pitch if you're an outside back. So it's more like at times you're playing a winger anyways.
Now, did you, when you initially learned about that, could you tell that he liked it or not, or how did you transition into his position?
Well, like I said, I think Sam would prefer to play a winger, but I think now, I think he's really come into that position, and he's done really well. I think he's one of the best outside backs in the league, especially in our system with man-to-man. Not many players can beat him. He's got so much pace and endurance that it's just very tough for opposing players to play against him. So again, I think for his potential at the next level, I think outside back is the spot for him.
Well, especially what he did off the top of the head against Phoenix. Does it even surprise you, like a pleasant surprise, how well he's doing?
Not really. I know that, again, his physical traits really lend himself nicely to this system. So if you're a good 1v1 defender as an outside back and you have pace and endurance, this system's perfect. And I think he's really shown in it.
Of all the guys that bring different things to this team, what is the one thing that you have noticed that Sam has brought to this team the past 2 years?
Just as going forward, pace, 1v1 ability, defending and attacking. His final third production's gotten a lot better. I think he's the first year he kind of struggled once he got into those positions, but whips in a good ball, right or left foot, can finish. So all that's been good. Cool. All right, guys.